Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to this week Magnet Marketers Training Tuesday, where our goal is always to help you become a magnet with your marketing versus being a bullhorn. We're so excited for you that are watching with us live and those of you that are catching the replay. I'm Jessica Phillips with my awesome co-host Mike Gingrich, and today we're talking all about tools that'll help you amplify your blog. So without further ado, welcome Mike, how are you?
I am doing well, and a topic near and dear to my heart, since I feel it's like blogging is my middle name sometimes. I just feel like I'm blogging. So I'm happy to dive into this one, talk more about it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. I always wondered what your middle name was. So it's Mike Bloggin Gingrich. I like it. It rolls
There you
right off
go.
the tongue there. Yeah. No, I'm doing well. It is nice and starting to get that chilly fall weather here in Ohio. So, you take what you can get of fall before you get to the cold months that we don't talk about here. But yeah, I'm all about the blogging too. So I'm excited about this topic to talk one about how we structure our blogging and for consistency, which is that one C that we're always big on here, consistency and quality content that we're really trying to push out. So talking about one, the flow, but two, some tools that will help us along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and share this out while you kick it off with our first tip.
Yes. All right, folks. So blogging is not something that can just be a random process, and it cannot be something that you just randomly do, hit and miss. But also more than that, it's more than just writing something about your product or your service. There's pieces to go into it, behind it, through it, and we want to start kind of at the biggest picture there, and that is kind of helping you to dig through identifying who you're writing to, who you're writing for, who your target audience is. Okay, so we want to start big picture, and we want to drill down into some details today to give you that. But the reason you need to know who your audience is and who your target is because over the course of time, when you're blogging, you're writing multiple articles, and you need to talk to them. You need to address their needs, address their concerns, speak to them in a language that they can understand. And so that's the key point. The way you do that is to identify, and you've heard us talk about this before, but the persona, okay, with your target audience. And you want to define who that is. For example, home restoration companies, ideal clients, probably homeowners, older adults with spending power to afford a home, right? Home restoration, get it? And this type of targeting applies to blogging as well. And we have a site out there that's by the team at HubSpot, makemypersona.com, which can help you, lead you through this process. But we've talked about personas, in many ways, shapes, and forms. We want to come back to that again today. So Jessica, if you're done sharing, I'm going to jump back to you to maybe define again the concept of persona.
Yeah, I mean, that should be your go-to starting point, like Mike said, because the whole goal is to get people to have a conversation with you and to build relationships. So as you're writing content out, you have to know who you're writing it for and who is on the other receiving end, like a magnet, that you're going to attract people in. Who are you wanting to consume that content? And the words that you use, the title that you write out, everything is going to revolve around who's going to be reading, what they're going to be searching, and what they're going to want to hear, and the problems that they're having. It all goes back to that core persona. So that's where you start. Make My Persona is definitely a great bare bones way of getting started. It's a free tool. If you're not familiar with personas, I do recommend going there. But if you are a little bit more familiar with personas, maybe you dive in a little bit deeper and you start there and then elaborate on thinking about specifically, like Mike gave an example of, that ideal client. So more than just their job role and more than just, what type of industry they're in, but some nuances in their day, what they're reading, what they're following, what kinds of words that you can use incorporating your blog to let them know that you are in their world, that you get them, you get what they're going through, and that you are there to really help them. The whole goal, again, building relationships. And in order to get people to want to come, consume, and come and share your content, care about your content, it has to really revolve around them, not so much you. You are helping them out, and that's where the content is serving its purpose right there.
Yep. So again, breaking it down, when it comes down to it, I mean, if you want to know if your primary
Hmm.
target, one of the personas that you're trying to write to, is a female age, 35 to 47, with generally at least 2 years or more of college background experience and a income that is above 60,000, and they're
Hmm.
generally professional. Again, that's a persona.
Yeah.
That's Sally in the suit kind of thing. So
Yep.
she's a businesswoman, and she's savvy. She's got this minimum
Hmm.
levels of income. She's got minimum levels of education. And she's doing certain things, and she spends
Hmm.
X amount typically per month on coffee, whatever those type of things pieces are.
Yeah.
And so that helps you to be able to know that's, Sally in the suit, that's who I'm writing to.
Exactly. And some of the best blogs are stories and you're telling a story in it. So you'd be able to craft that story around something that they could resonate with. So I like that example of, using the coffee shop, and maybe you're mentioning family or whatever else that may fit that Sally in the suit mold, that she's going to really resonate with. So definitely personas are number one. You have to know who you're talking to before you even get started. And almost equally as important, the tip number two is that you have to know what your goals are. What
Yep.
are you trying to accomplish with your blog? Like, what are you trying to, write content to serve what purpose? Of course, you're serving your audience, right? But are you trying to draw them back into your site to opt into your email? Are you trying to drive them into your site to be known for this specific pain solving skill that you guys have at your company? What are you trying to accomplish? You have to really drill down your goals, because your content that you're going to be writing about to the audience that you're trying to write it for is ultimately serving some kind of purpose. It's not just that you're writing this blog to write it, unless you've got some really kick butt affiliate thing set up on your site and you're just writing it for your passion. But most companies are writing with a goal in mind of getting something in exchange for that time and that investment that they're spending in writing this content.
Yep. Yep. I often talk about it this way. I mean, that the blogging is, I mean, you want to know, sorry, we're trying to educate, we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to be a resource, but ultimately, what are we trying to do? How does this fit into our strategy? Does it fit into a funnel piece
Mm-hmm.
for you? So a lot of writing that I do is kind of in the top of the funnel. It's
Mm-hmm.
attracting and engaging the right audience. So it's helping them that they're searching for something, and I want to be a solution to that. I want this, this customer,
Mm-hmm.
this content to be a solution to that. They come over, then they can learn about you to know, like, trust. Hopefully we can get them to opt into something. So what is that goal? What are we trying to do? Where does it fit
Mm-hmm.
in your strategy and in your funnel process?
Yeah, that's super smart. Like you said, I mean, are you educating them? Are you trying to engage them? Are you entertaining them? Are you setting yourself as an expert? One of our 4 E's that we talk about. What tone are you having? What is the knowledge and skill level of the person that's going to be reading it, and what area of the funnel? If you're talking to someone, like you said, the top of the funnel to attract them in, that blog might read a lot different, and your strategy may be a lot different than if you're trying to write your blogs that are nurturing. So you should have, different goals, of course, for different blogs, because you definitely want to keep people nurtured throughout their whole entire journey with you. But knowing your goals right out of the gate is really going to help you to get that content planned out and understand how you're going to, the types of content that you're going to be writing. We do have a tool to help you with that. So if you do know your goals overall, so maybe your goal is top of the funnel, like Mike said, and it's really like, hey, should I be, what's questions to ask before I hire a web developer? And Mike is trying to reach people at the top of the funnel. And those top of the funnel people are trying to get attracted in to hire him as a web developer. He's trying to think of blog articles that are going to resonate with that person. Maybe that's all he's thinking is, I need to, what's the questions that somebody should ask before hiring a web developer? He can use this tool. It's another tool by HubSpot. I know there's others out there. This is just one that we use. That's blog topic generator. So it's literally hubspot.com/blog topic generator. You can put some of your keywords in there that you're trying to resonate for, and it's going to give you several blog topics that you could write on that keyword, and build out multiple blogs on that same kind of topic, but different angles to meet that topic, because we don't know how someone's going to be searching until we put something out there and then kind of see some behaviors from there.
Right. And I think that kind of taking it down then a next step, again, we're trying to drill down further. So, you've thought about who the persona is, and now, what is our goal that we're trying to accomplish with that. And this is something that I think you need from a personal standpoint, but here we are talking about from a content standpoint, and that is a mission. Just as you have a personal mission in life, hopefully you do, that you identify why you're here and what your purpose is. So take that down to the level of your blogging, your content. What is the mission? This is more than just a goal. So a goal might be to get them to opt in, but now we're taking it down into a little deeper level, and this will help guide the theme and the goal of your blogging efforts.
I love that, because it gives your blog almost like a spirit, a soul, like where somebody gets a vibe from it, right? They know kind of the tone that you're setting, and it gives you a way of saying no when you don't want to, or that something is not going to align with the content mission that you have of your blog. So if your content mission is, our mission is to serve, this manufacturing industry, to help them understand how to purchase and save time and increase efficiency, then maybe that's anything else other than that. If it doesn't hit that content mission, and that your goal is to really start resonating there, then you're going to be able to turn some other topics away that does not resonate with your content mission. So you really can stay true to it, and that's really going to help drill down your brand and what your brand's going to stand out for, and really help people understand that if they're asked, hey, what's the best blog on this topic, you're going to more come to mind than some generalization where it's kind of a catch-all blog that doesn't really stand out.
Exactly. I mean, that's just that's helpful, again, to reiterate the importance of having something that's focused there. So that's what is the mission, what is behind that, the deeper level. And I like the way you talked about that.
So a question real quick, and this is a little bit off the cuff here, but so if you have do you have multiple team members that blog in your company? Or
yes. So I'm not doing all the blogging, no.
Yeah, I'm often asking clients that, because a lot of times we're helping them blog, right? And so if you get a lot of team members in on writing the blog, that is where our content mission even comes more crucial, right? Because it helps keep everyone aligned, because everybody's going to have their own kind of tone and spin to things, but either everybody's under this same content mission umbrella, or you each have different segments or resource sections maybe, of your blog that you're covering. But this is where I feel like it could be something, if you're working with a large group that maybe is participating and writing content together, that everyone's familiar with that content mission. It's shared freely. Maybe you guys come up with it together even, all, sign off on it and say you believe in it. And then everybody is on that same level where you can say, yes, this meets it, or no, it doesn't. So it keeps everybody on track and organized, and, in the same zone, with the same goals in mind. I know, content marketing world, Cleveland Clinic talked about this a lot. They said they say no more than they say yes to content, and they're constantly turning out blogs, and they're writing ahead, but they're really going back and sticking to this content mission. And it was 3 sentences long. I really wish I would have wrote it down, but it was 3 sentences long, but it was so powerful. Just those 3 sentences that literally defined what they were there to do as a result of sharing their content on their blog. So definitely something I think that is often or often missed and overlooked. So that's something I even want to get better at for our team, is making sure that we're staying to a content mission, for sure. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yep, no, I like that. And, I would just add to that, because obviously there's, companies like ours that we have to help other companies create their content. We help, we write for them in many cases here. And so this is a must in that process. This enables us to write well for a client's company, and to understand them if we've done the hard work here, because this is the framework, this is the culture, so to speak, that the company has and what they're trying to do with that, and that allows us to then the brand persona that allows us to write reflecting them.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that ties beautifully into the next tip, which is writing for your audience's needs, right? So you're writing for your
What? You mean we
audience's
should
needs.
actually do something that's purposeful and that actually like solves the problem or something?
Yeah, it's kind of a good idea. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. So, like, if you're a cookware business and your buyer persona is, Sally, homemaker, whatever, and maybe, you are writing completely to them and you can give them a grocery guide list or something that's super helpful to help them in meal planning tips, whatever. If you're a cookware business, you're not going to just keep drilling home to buy your cookware. You could do something helpful that's really going to help that end persona solve an issue in their day and something that they're going to want to take the time out to read, to share, to use as a utility. So writing for your audience's needs is super important. Is a tool that I have for that as well. And this is very similar to HubSpot's tool, but it's another one that we often like to check out. And this is a blog title generator. So if maybe you know what you're trying to do and how you're trying to serve your customer, but you have no idea what to call it, or maybe you just want to play around with, maybe I'm trying to help them meal prep, but I'm not really sure kind of where I want to go with my title. I mean, it's super easy to kind of feel like you've went through all of the ideas on a topic when there's so many more that's out there. So use this tool. This will help inspire you maybe to come up with some new ideas. Pick the right title and the right topic that could resonate with your audience. So I'll put this tool in here. This is actually from Impact Branding. They are another HubSpot partner, but they have some really cool tools in there on their site as well. So I just put that link under our show notes here. Comment section, I should say.
Yep. We need those kind of good tools. I mean, there's tools out there that are helping us in this process, and we just need to utilize those and dive in and make it happen with us.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's not necessarily a tool, but you can literally take the Marcus Sheridan approach. I love his they ask you answer. Yeah. So if you get a question more than once, chances are other people are searching for it. So use that as an opportunity to make a list of your blog topics that you're getting in, whether it's your customer service department, your sales department, wherever, and use that as some of your topics. And then you could always drill down. Don't feel like you have to cover everything in just one massive, 1,200 word article. Break it down. Maybe you make a couple articles out of it, and continue on and really answer that question in as many ways as you can to thoroughly get through that information.
Absolutely. I like some of the next ideas that we want to talk about. I want to call it style, if you will. What you want to do in a blog post, how you want to write. Now, again, think through this. That blogging is not academic research paper. It is also not simply scribbled notes. Okay, so there's a piece that's in between. Now, remember that people are reading blog posts. They are typically scanning. Remember that a lot of people are reading your blogs on a mobile device or tablet, that type of thing. So there's a format that's going to be helpful to them in that regard. But it's not an academic journal, and people's eyes are scanning through. So you need to be able to break that content up. Lots of different pieces of heading, not 7 and 8 sentence long paragraphs where there's just large blocks of text, but you want to break things up into bits and pieces, bullets, and order lists, and use subtitles, subheadings, that type of thing to help people so that you can help them navigate through it. So that's a stylistic thing, because you want to, but also another aspect of style is just that it should be interesting. And perhaps you say it's interesting light reading. Okay, so again, an academic journal, I always think of, it's large blocks of text, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's all I can do is I have to focus on this and read it 3 times, and then that will help me. This should stick with someone. They should be able to flow through that conversational tone. And this is, again, like Jessica said, with Marcus Sheridan's idea of they ask, you answer. So think about writing that way. Like this, somebody has called in. What would you do with them on the phone? How do you want to talk them through that? That's that kind of conversational tone that can be helpful in a blog, and that you want to walk them through. So any more you want to add to that piece?
No, I think that's perfect. Yeah, definitely breaking it up and thinking about your audience too. It may be something that you make infographic or visual, more visual, or it could be
Yeah,
bullets, or it
visuals are
could
good.
be, listed it out. Whatever is working for you, keep doing that thing. But
Yeah.
try out a couple different mediums. Some people may prefer video blogging, right? So others may prefer writing and reading it that way. It just depends on your audience. You can do both, but play around with it, try it out. But this kind of ties in nicely to our next one. I'll come back to the calendar piece, but being conversational. The whole goal is with a blog that's separate from an advanced article, right, is that blogging should be conversational. It should feel like you are talking to someone else across from you. So one of the tools that I like to use actually is my voice recorder on my phone. I literally talk out the article because we talk a lot different than we write. But if you talk it out first in your voice recorder or dictation service or whatever, you're going to get your natural conversational flow into your article before you actually go back in and edit and rewrite. That is one of the tools that I really, really like to use. So it sounds more like me and my tone than if I'm just trying to write some fancy piece that's going to lose all personality, because you want to have that little bit of personality to the blog itself.
That's what sets it apart. That's what helps it stick. That's what helps, emphasize who you are. A key piece of you over the time, differentiating yourself, your company.
Another key piece of me is using Grammarly to go back and fix all the stuff that my English teacher used to have to fix. Now I can just plug in that tool to help me with my blogging. It's grammar.li. So for those of you that love to speak things out but need that extra little check so you don't have the grammar police after you, grammar.li. Grammarly definitely does help. There is a Hemingway app as well, but Grammarly is one that we use here in the office that we love. It will give you suggestions, kind of fix as you go, almost like spell check throughout your blog article to make sure you don't have any of those embarrassing moments in that blog article where you've missed some proofing or grammar or whatever it may be right within there. It does have a word count, some other cool tools included in that as well.
Yep. And again, those are incredible tools. There will be that occasion where something slips through, and you have the DER instead of the DEAR, or whatever. And
Yeah.
but again, you try to correct those. You try to move on, and even if somebody just jumps on that in a comment section, you can thank them for that and keep going.
Kathy just made a comment. First of all, hi, Kathy. How are you? Thanks for joining in with us today. Kathy Clark asks, is there an infographic tool out there? Honestly, Kathy, there used to be one that I used before having a designer called Infogram. I want to see if that's still available. That was pretty cool. And then I use Canva a lot, actually, for infographics. I don't know if you use another one, Mike, but it used to be info.gr.am, Infogram. There was a cool tool out there. Yeah, it's still there. So I'm going to give you this link, Kathy. And that's one you can build some infographics out of right there in their tool.
I should probably mention Vengage. I've done a review of that on my website there, but Vengage, that's with two N's, VENNGAGE, is another one that I have used and feel good about the folks there.
That's an infographic tool?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I haven't tried that out. That's awesome. So also with blogging, with wanting to be found, so we do want our audience to find us. They're going to be searching for those questions, but we may not know what keyword specifically they are going to be searching for. So there is a tool called keyword.io that will allow you to see what keywords in your audience are most searched for and give you some good topics to write around that keyword in order to be found. So definitely a one that we use on the daily in our office, and one that I would highly recommend. I'll put the link in there, but definitely makes sense if you're blogging about a topic and you realize nobody's searching that way. They're using a different word, than this word, and all you have to do is literally replace that one word out. It's going to make a huge difference in your findability.
Yep. No, you want to go through those because again, you want to also be aware of how people talk about a certain topic, the kind of questions that they ask, and ask in that same manner, write in that same manner, I should say.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Add my Ben Gage here in the notes just so I don't forget that. I got that one in. Okay.
So now we got kind of a flow going on, but we want to work ahead. Okay, so we don't want to just wait down to the wire and say, oh shoot, I need a blog out, because consistency, as we mentioned, is the number one key with your blogs, as well as your context and who you're writing it for. All of that is super important. So consistency, you need to maybe plan out some of these topics ahead of time, and you may be working with a team or a group. Maybe you have an editor or somebody that's going to proofread for you, or maybe you have somebody that's gathering some ideas and another person's executing, or you guys are tag teaming, rotating blogs, whatever that is. You want to still make sure that you have at least a clear plan for your blogs for a minimum of a couple months. We like to try to plan out at least themes for the year. It can change if it needs to, but at least so you can get some of that evergreen content that's always being created and always being indexed. So you can plan that out for a year and then add in maybe some of those timely ones that you definitely want to get out as well. Well, we use Trello, Trello, which allows you to plan out some boards, which will give you like your blog topics. And you could have blog topics, top questions here, and then another board you can create that's kind of like side by side, and you can move topics over from one to another. It could be like this one's scheduled, this idea is approved, and this one's published. You can organize it however you want. It's very collaborative, so you can bring in your team. You can assign labels to each one, so maybe the purpose of the blog, the persona that it's going after, and it can link out to maybe the Google Drive document or wherever you're storing the actual piece of content for you to reference it. So it's very much an organizational tool. People use Trello for all kinds of things, but a good chunk of people use it specifically for blogging and have found that very helpful. Now I know you use a different one than Trello, I think, still maybe?
Yeah. For I've used a couple of them actually. So there's you can actually use one that's integrated with WordPress, and that's called CoSchedule. So that's a possibility that's out there. And also with our team, we've kind of gotten in the habit of just using a shared Google Sheet. So it's kind of the same concept. So we'll have we have a calendar. So the future ones, the furthest out we have plans at the top, and the ones that are getting closer to us are down below that. And then we use the tabs within a spreadsheet to use for different ideas, different things like that, different categories of those where we're kind of brainstorming. And then ultimately they make the final cut. They're in the piece there. But you can have a link, as you said, to the doc file right there, that type of thing. So at a glance, it's just helpful to be able to see this is what's coming up, and if there's other categories that we haven't fit, this one fits in this category, this one fits in this category, here's the link to the article, this one is scheduled to publish, that type of thing. So at a glance you can just see a lot of information about it, and your team can collaborate on it.
Nice. So on Google, I do love that anything that lives kind of in Google Business Apps, it saves all the changes and lets you know who changes everything. Thank God, because we all have had those frightening moments where we've written our last paper and we're almost done and something crashes and you're like, oh my goodness, I lost my paper, and you got to start all over. And that is like when you just rethink all things, or you're just like, no, not these moments. So I do love that about Google, but I do have a question in regards to that because I like that concept and idea. It's very, maybe something easier that nobody has to relearn, as you're working with clients or whatnot. But
Yep.
does in Google, do you have the ability to schedule anything like for reminders or anything like that within that page?
I don't use any features like that at this point in time. So a reminder thing.
Hmm.
So that I mean, the only thing related to that we would use is, the comments feature, so we can tag each other
Oh,
in
okay.
something and alert
Yeah,
each other to
that's
those
good.
types of pieces. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But you're in it enough probably that you don't really need to schedule it out. Okay. Yeah. Makes makes sense. Perfect. Yeah, so plenty of options there. Try it out, see what would work best for you and your team, or maybe you're already using something that we haven't mentioned. Please put it in the comments. We always love to try out new tools because we want to see what's out there and what's going to be beneficial for not just us, but also the clients that we're working with and what is going to work for them. So that is scheduling the blog out. Maybe
yep.
let's talk about now the best part. It's all published and beautiful, and you're ready to go live. Now, what do we need to think about?
Yeah, absolutely. That don't fall into the wrong thinking that it's published, I'm done. Okay, that is not accurate in that sense. Because you need to maximize
Yep.
your content, and the way you maximize it is to have a clear distribution and acceleration plan. Okay, and
Yes.
so there's a few pieces with that. So number one, just because you've got the content in there and it's saved doesn't mean it's ready to go. Is it SEO optimized? Search engine optimization and that type of piece there. So if you're using a WordPress platform, then I mean SEO Yoast is my go-to. I think it's your go-to as well in that regard, so that it's helping you evaluate that content. You can put in your keyword phrase that you wanted to target within that, and it's gonna color code you. Are you still in red? You don't have enough content. Are you in yellow? It's there, but it's not in key places at the top of the article. It's not the URL, those type of things. Or is it green? You've got all those things taken care of. It kind of goes through the pieces for you. So you want to you want to maximize that and take a look at that. So that's a quick one before it publishes. You want to make sure it's optimized, that it's structurally sound from an SEO perspective on that. And then you want to think through next. It's going to go live. So then you want to think through how it can be shared out there, social media marketing strategy plan. So taking it out to some of your social media networks to try to draw traffic back to your blog from those. And just don't fall into the point there that, oh, I've tweeted it, so therefore I am done kind of thing. Or, oh, I have shared it on Facebook, so I'm finished with that. Check that off. Because, again, how many people saw that tweet? How many people saw that post? And how did you share it? Did you share it as a link post? Did you share it as an image post? Can you share it as a video post? Can you talk about it on Facebook Live to drive traffic back to it? So, SEO, social media marketing, and those are two of them. There's more. Maybe